MZTV.
If you're not interested in hearing about the 65-mile run in 24 hours, then you don't have to watch this. But if you want to watch it, it's here for you on MZTV. Lots of juicy details. Well, let me just say right off the bat, it was a success. But barely. I'm going to tell you why. My son Gabe couldn't make it down. Of course, that was disappointing, but he had a good reason that he couldn't come down. And so I just said, well, I've done these things on my own before, so I'll just go it alone. And Gabe felt terrible. I said, don't worry about it, son. You know, all's of God. This was meant to be this way. So I set off at 4 o'clock a.m. from Fort Lauderdale. And in fact, I made a short video right before the beginning of the run, and here it is. It's 3:58, getting ready to leave. Slight breeze, no chance of rain today. Gonna engage my light here shortly. There you go. That's nice. Gotta watch every step. Every step you take, every move you make. Yeah. So, this is 19th Street, Fort Lauderdale. Gonna be heading down there shortly. And like 3 minutes to begin this 65-mile run from Fort Lauderdale to Jupiter, Florida. So in the first couple miles, I began waxing philosophical, which is easy to do when you're fresh and you're just beginning a run. I was going through the Henry E. Kinney Tunnel. There's a tunnel that goes under the New River in downtown Fort Lauderdale. I was discussing various aspects of the run, namely that the run would actually begin at 40 miles. That's when the real grunt and groan would start. But anyway, here is the footage in the Kinney Tunnel under the New River in Fort Lauderdale. Okay, 21 minutes into the run, 4:21 a.m. on March 6, 2025. Beginning a 65-mile run, theoretically, to Jupiter, Florida. I'm now heading down into the Henry E. Kinney Tunnel, which goes under the New River. That's Fort Lauderdale. This here is a resident of Fort Lauderdale. Sorry for the light. Is that better? I have a feeling I'm feeling great so far. A little over a mile in. Only 64 to go. I have a feeling that this run is going to begin at like 40 miles. Yeah, that's when it starts. The body's tired, obviously. Every step's a gritty effort, and you still got a marathon to go. So I'm kind of looking forward to that, just to get it over with. I just want to get that underway, start the hard stuff, but I got to put in these preliminary 40 miles. That's the catch, see? Man, that's the catch. Here we go. Under the New River, as opposed to the old river, I guess. Okay, slow down. They give me some peace and quiet here in the Henry E. Kinney Tunnel. Up there's a river, if you can believe that. I can see light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm here to report that the light is green. So, things were going along pretty well. I wasn't pushing the pace, but I wasn't holding it back either. I was letting my body dictate the pace. And they say marathoners hit the wall at around the 20-mile mark of a marathon being a 26-mile, 385-yard race. I hit the wall between 27 and 29 miles. I forget what time it was. Maybe it was around noon or 1, but I was really questioning, like, what am I doing out here? Why did I undertake this in the first place? There's always that point when you're doing some distasteful thing that you want to do. It's maybe a grand goal, but you always have this crisis point. And for me, it was a 29-mile mark. I felt beat. I felt just discouraged. Okay, 31 miles. I hit the wall. 27 miles. I hit the wall. Felt like a literal wall. But I said to myself, I'm glad to be reminded why I hate this. Glad to be reminded. I sat down for the first time. 8 hours. I finally sat down to rest after 8 hours. It was stupid. A little false confidence there. Anyway. What did I do? I dosed up on some kratom, mixed it in with Starbucks cold coffee, a jar. They're crap. I pour half of it out, shake up the kratom and the rest of it, and then I refilled my water bag back here, my backpack, refilled that with my electrolyte powder. I use Tailwind electrolyte powder. Oh yeah. I'm a few miles away from halfway. That's gonna be it. I'm on a survival pace now. I was doing pretty good. I mean, I'm running. It doesn't look like I'm running because I'm running slow, but I am running. Do I have to show you? I'm running. But it's a survival pace at this point. It's looking ugly. Am I gonna do it? Probably. Am I loving it? I stopped loving it at 27 miles. The weather was perfect, actually. It was 75 degrees. The sun was shining, which is not necessarily a good thing if you're running, but it helped, really. I think it helped to see the sunshine, reminding me of the sunshine of God's love. And nevertheless, at this low point, I wondered how I was going to finish. I had a feeling that I would, but I knew that it was going to be rough. So at this point, I decided to light up a cigarette. And so here's a photo of me I think this is the 33-mile mark, about 5 miles after the crash. And the reason I did this, the reason I lit up a cigarette, I thought this would happen, which is why I brought a couple smokes along. For one thing, running 65 miles in a day for a 65-year-old is kind of foolish. It's like, who cares? Why? And I asked myself that. Why do you feel the necessity to do this? I've explained this before. I think it has a lot to do with connecting with something very primitive. Running is very primitive, the oldest form of transportation. To explain the smoking thing, it was my way of dealing with the absurdity of the run. I mean, the run itself was absurd. And so, in order to combat that, it probably would take a whole team of psychologists to really sort this out. But in order to rebel against the rebellion, because the run itself was some sort of rebellion against modern technology. So the running was rebellion, but I didn't like it at that point. And so smoking a cigarette was my rebellion against the rebellion. It comforted me that it was like an insult to the run. It was like, oh, so you think you got something on me here, huh, run? You think I'm having a hard time? Run. You think you got me beat down? Run. Well, let me show you what I think about you. Light up a cigarette. It was perfect. It helped. Mentally, it helped. I think I smoked one more. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, when I put my legs up on that rock, I had another smoke then. It was just the perfect rebellion against the rebellion, the perfect absurdity to overcome the absurdity. The weird thing is, it worked. And so it connects me with the ancient. And it helps to have my Merrell Vapor Glove 5 shoes. These are the shoes I wore on the run. And the run, by the way, was conducted on 65 miles of concrete. And these are the shoes that I wore on 65 miles of concrete. Absolute, no support, no springs, no nothing. Meaning that you're letting the foot free to do what it does. When your foot can contact the ground and feel what's happening on the ground, it adjusts to the contact. It knows how to prepare for the impact. Because you see people running in these $150 shoes with springs and insoles and arch supports and all these bells and whistles. And what happens, though, is that the foot is basically put to sleep. The foot stops working for you. It stops sending intelligent messages to the brain. Oh, I guess they don't need me. And so they've done studies on this. You end up striking the ground harder and at strange angles when you wear giant padded shoes. There was no such thing as the industry of podiatry until running shoes became fancy, pantsy, ultra padded, springy, wingy pieces of wasted foam. And that's what they are. So I run in barefoot shoes. I would run it barefoot. I really would. But every time I run barefoot, I get this weird blister on the ball of my foot. It's very weird. You would think you would get no blisters, but anyway, yes, I would have run barefoot if I could, but these shoes are the next best thing to barefoot. I keep going because that's what I do. I knew this point would come, and in a way, I was looking forward to it. Remember, I said at the beginning under the bridge that the race would start at 40 miles. So I hit the 40-mile mark. And I'm thinking, oh, my God. I mean, that alone should be an accomplishment, right? I mean, I've run 40 miles today. Isn't that great? Is anybody impressed? You know, and you look around and nobody's impressed. Nobody knows what you're doing. You're the only one that can really handle. You're the only one that has the potential of being impressed with yourself. And yet, at that point, I still had to run a marathon. So, if you can imagine running 40 miles, thinking, "Yeah, I just ran 40 miles," and now somebody says, "Okay, now I want you to line up for a marathon," and that's what I was looking at, and I was not looking forward to it. And then what happened? Something amazing happened at that point. And I'm going to show you a photo right now, and you will know exactly what happened. That's right. A white van pulled alongside of me, and it was Manfred Jones. Now, I had no idea Manfred was going to try to look for me and surprise me and say hello. But he did. This was probably around 5 o'clock p.m. at the 41 mile mark. And I jumped in, he parked, I jumped in the van. I said, "Oh, Manfred, it's so great to see you." And he was telling me about he had been looking for me for an hour. He had gone past where I was. He went all the way to West Palm Beach, couldn't find me. He was getting hungry, stopped to buy some pizza, and then he just shrugged, decided to go home. Here's another little tidbit of information. My phone was dead, which was not helpful at all, so he probably tried to call me, but he's starting to drive home, and he sees me. He's going south. I'm heading north, and he sees me, and he said, "Holy shit, there he is." And the thing is, I just come out of a store. I was in a store buying a Milky Way bar and some water to put my electrolyte mix in. And if he had been going by a minute sooner, he would have missed. This was a God thing, completely a God thing. So I'm talking to Manfred, feeling better already. And he says to me, he says, "Why don't I just go up? I'll just drive up 5 miles ahead and then see if you're doing okay. And then, we'll take it from there." I said, "Fantastic." So Manfred drives up 5 miles ahead. At this point, I didn't know how long Manfred was willing to be with me. I made a couple videos around this point, and here they are. I just passed through the town of Lantana. I'm heading to West Palm Beach. I called Donald and told him I was going to miss dinner. I apologized to him. He said he'll make it up to me, or I can make it up to him. That's how he put it. Anyway, you'll never guess, Manfred came up to see me. What a guy. He sought diligent for me and found me. It was amazing. I'm going to have to get my headlamp out again. But anyway, I got a little bit of a second wind. I laid down some grass and put my feet up on a rock. Very primitive. For about 20 minutes. That helped. I might not finish this thing till 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. I don't know. This is rough. It's what we call in the business an ordeal. But Manfred's gone ahead 5 miles. He's charging my piece of junk battery I bought, which is, like I said, piece of junk. And yeah. I might send Manfred to Walmart to get me a jacket. It's getting cold. I don't do well. I get chilled easily, you see. Chilled easily. Oh, Lord. I kind of wish it were over, but I guess that's what gives it its quality, is how hard it is. But I don't recommend any 65-year-old run 65 miles. I can't recommend it. I might have recommended it before this, but 14 hours and 40 minutes has knocked it out of me. Well, it looks like the moon. That's the moon up there. Okay, thank you for not running me over. I appreciate it. By the light of the silvery moon. Manfred put me in a better mood, let me tell you. What a friend, what a guy. Manfred did that. What a guy, that Manfred Jones. Manfred Jones. So I met Manfred and I said, "Manfred, I have this kind of crazy idea. What do you think of this?" I had gotten 2 double beds at the hotel for me and Gabe and his wife, and I said, "Manfred, do you have anything to do tonight?" Manfred says, quote, "I'm here for the duration." Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you the happiness I felt. Manfred said, "No more 5-mile increments. I'm going to go up 1.5 miles. And at this time, it's dark. I'm going to go up 1.5 miles, and I'm going to meet you. And then we'll connect, and then I'll go another 1.5 miles. If you need anything, I'll be here for you." The run was a lark at that point. And in fact, I explained that in this video. Manfred Jones rescued me up here. I was really feeling low. I think we got 52 miles in now. Wow. Okay. And we got 15 miles to go. Yep. But Manfred changed the game. I was feeling low. And as soon as he showed up, it's been fun and games. I mean, the run became easy. Yep. He showed up. But I was getting cold because I just wore a thin shirt. And Manfred let me borrow his sweatshirt. So, I mean, this guy, he's a present help in times of trouble. I'm telling you that. So we're heading towards Jupiter, not the planet. That's later.
Right, yeah.
So that was the 52-mile mark when we got this system going. We were in West Palm Beach. It was dark. I was getting tired. I was sleepy. I didn't think I'd be going 24 hours. I thought I could do it in 21 hours, 22 hours at the most, but that wasn't happening. I was falling asleep while running. I know I was falling asleep because I would doze off and then I'd open my eyes. I'd be veered off to the left of the road over the white stripe, and then I'd fall asleep again and I'd go off to the right. And at one point, there was this guy on the sidewalk. It must have been around 1 in the morning. I felt like I was hallucinating it or something. This guy was walking down the sidewalk saying something to me, and he woke me up. And I didn't hear what he said at the beginning, but at the end he said something like, well, at least you're going to make it, or something. Maybe it was a spiritual being. I don't know. It was weird. Well, this marks the 62-mile mark. And so a 43-year-old record is broken today. Ran that 62 miles in 1982 at age 22. Not too old, I guess.